Gabby. Man, that Gabby sure is Gabby, isn't she? Do you think the first person named Gabby was like, what the fuck? Not cool, Mom. But I bet her mom, you know what? She was Gabby. She probably gabbed a lot.
My ex-wife is Gabby.
Is she really? Oh, no way. You can't write this stuff, folks. Actually, you can.
Oh, no. Damn, you wearing that Versace. Mama, you ain't got that money, but got soul. And you stole. Elsa Jade and some crypto. Damn, she must have got the
Got water. All set.
Dang, what the heck is
What is that? You know what that is? That's the thing in Jurassic Park. Oh, yeah, it's going to be a good podcast. Take it off. It's going to be it's that thing in Jurassic Park where they open it up.
That's literally what it looked like.
And that comes out and it's dino DNA.
Dino DNA. And Jeff Goldblum in the background.
Yes, shirt off. Round. A big Jeff Goldblum fan. I don't know if you feel the same way.
Who isn't? If you're not a Jeff Goldblum fan, tune out right now.
Let's just stop listening.
This is going to be an hour and a half of Jeff Goldblum.
We're just going to waffle on about Jeff Goldblum for a long time.
Waffle? Where's waffle come from? Hold on. Dean Nelson is my guest today, guys. Welcome to this Juan time. My name is Juan, of course, and I'm joined by Dean, and we're getting into Jeff Goldblum. Let's go right into it, man.
Jump right into Jeff Goldblum.
Where's waffle come from? What's that term?
Waffle, I think it's a British thing. That's where all great things come from.
From the UK.
From the UK. It's not all great things. In fact, a lot of bad things came from the UK as well.
It was especially for a country like so bent on like conquering other countries for spices, and then their food is so bland.
Yes, it's so that's a good point. Yeah. I went to London once, and I stepped in and I was like, I'm gonna grab some good old pub food.
Yes.
Came in there, it was the most bland thing I've ever had.
Yeah, everything's boiled.
Yeah, right. There was no taste to anything.
Especially when you're here. So are you from Arizona?
I'm from Virginia.
Virginia.
Yes. East Coaster.
Oh, East Virginia, not West Virginia.
Not West Virginia. No. I am not attracted to my sister.
Oh. Not saying she's ugly, but yeah.
No. God, I don't know why I shot at West Virginia.
I know. Whoa, hey, put them guns
away,
man.
I'm sorry, man. I can't. Till later, maybe.
We should have checked him at the door.
We should have checked him at the door. You brought him in.
No,
Look, you can't see him. You can only hear his handsome voice, but you can just imagine his biceps right now. If you're watching, you can see the biceps.
Tune in.
This
will be going on YouTube, and you're going to send me a song. We're going to do a time lapse. We're going to set it up, man. How long have you been doing music? We talked about your early stuff right now, but I would say, what was your first venture into playing an instrument or even singing?
I got a guitar when I was either 12 or 13.
Prime.
I wanted desperately to impress a girl that lived down the street from me. Mm-hmm. She told me, hey, I heard this guy at this party play guitar, which I'm sure he was terrible if he was that party guy.
Oh,
gotcha. Like the guy that brought a guitar to a party.
Yeah.
Which was bad. I don't know why she was attracted to that. She had terrible taste in men. And now that I see that, and so I was like, man, I really want to get this. And then my neighbor had a skateboard, and that Christmas I was like, I need either a skateboard or a guitar. And my parents were like, we'll get you a guitar.
Yeah, because they saw the medical bills.
They saw the medical bills,
but then they don't see the recording bills.
They didn't see it. That was the problem. The fools. They didn't see it coming at all. Yeah, I'm super happy they didn't give me a skateboard.
Yeah. That's one thing I could never get on board with. I feel like I have good balance. Oh, yeah. I meant to skate around that pun. No, but like I feel like every time I jumped on a skateboard, even now I just got my daughter one, and my ass just wants to hit the floor immediately.
Really?
And I'm just so scared too. So like I see people that are skateboarding, I'm like badass,
Yes.
And for one, like the culture just in general is kind of like a big middle finger to society. So it's super cool. But likewise, playing a guitar
seriously
can also be a big middle finger to society.
the alternative route, I guess, for everybody. I wonder why it got stuck so much with skaters specifically. I wonder what's going on.
What do you
a lot
mean,
of
like you
S words
yourself?
here. No, I just wonder why that counterculture is so ingrained into skateboarding. I wonder what happened. It's like such a pleb thing.
Yeah, well, you have to do it like on a paved surface, and most paved surfaces that are ideal for skating are usually corporate business incentive places, right?
Yeah.
And then next thing you know, it's like you're a business trying to operate as a business, and make a profit and have people want to come in.
Yeah.
And then you got all these hoodlums or,
Coming in.
not rejects, but, just outcasts, sitting out front, smoking their cigarettes, like not giving a fuck,
Yeah, totally.
And, so yeah, at that point, it's like, hey, I want to do my passion. It's like, imagine, I guess, somebody like coming up to you and saying, you can't play guitar here.
Oh,
and
I'm
it's like,
going to play guitar there.
yeah, right.
I'm going.
You would if it was the most ideal place to do it. I think you'd have to do it. So my daughter is a big rule follower, I think, to a fault.
Really?
Yeah. So like that's what I liked about her getting into skateboarding.
Yes.
But, she's kind of, they're at that age where they're,
You're the dad saying, don't follow so many rules. I love that.
Well, because my son is the complete opposite, man. He wants to figure out what the rule is so he can cheat it. And I'm like,
really?
dude, like we gotta curtail it. So I got two extremes.
You got.
So that's what you were dealing with, because she's a musician.
Yeah.
She loves to sing, and he's the total athlete in that sense. So they got both my creative, and she's not athletic at any one spot, and he lacks a little bit on his creativity, his imagination when it comes to pulling stuff out of thin air. And I think as a musician, that's one thing that we can be really good at is pulling stuff out of the ether, not even just thin air, but ether. Can you tell me a moment where like you just started writing something down and it was just like, where is this coming from?
This is crazy. Yeah. There was I have a song called Before that I have released since. You can stream that anywhere. And it was after I got divorced, and so it feels kind of like cliche, but I was just having a really rough time at that. It was always really tough, but at that time I was having a specifically hard week. I just heard some new information that had come through. And I was just trying to deal with this. Gotcha. And I sat at the end of the bed and had this guitar in my hand. I was dating somebody else at the time, and she was laying down. So I was trying to be quiet. And I started playing the guitar, and it just came out. And it was just this thing of like, it's been a long time, but you laughed like this before, but you've smiled like this before. And then it kind of kept going, and time is funny, it's cruel and strange, leave you left and wanted, then find you again. And I wasn't really thinking, it wasn't like a 15-minute song, but it just like poured out. And it was just this really surreal moment. And at the end of it, I was like crying, and the girl was like, what was that? And I was like, I don't know where that came from.
I don't know, but you got to leave.
You got to leave. You got to get out of here right now. Why are you still here? No, that was she was super sweet. And I'm super lucky to be with her. But that was it was crazy. That was a really weird, I can't think of a moment that was like that pure of just like this forgiveness. And after that point, from that point on, I could hear anything. I heard a lot worse stuff later on about things that had transpired.
Yes.
But that was a moment where I was just like, I have a lot of love for this person, and she's not the same person because she chose to do different things.
Yeah.
And that made me a different person.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I can either be extremely angry or I can be a better person. So that was this really intense emotional moment for me. And I think that's where I was able to pull that from. And music's always been something like that for me. I can think back to these traumatizing moments. That's not a unique thought.
No.
People have talked about before, and that's very much
But it takes a lot. It takes a lot to take that newfound information, like you said, or something that's happened to you, and it's like, well, what are you going to do, man? You have two options. Are you going to wallow in your filth and sorrow, or are you going to be able to use it for some sort of fuel and to rise above, to become a better person? I mean, I didn't know you were divorced and all that, but I mean, same here. So like that, your story definitely speaks to me in that sense. And it's like, what are you going to do? Are you just going to play the victim? Yeah. Which, you have a right to be in that moment, but now you got to come out of it, man.
You got to come out of it.
You have to rise.
Totally.
And not to prove people wrong per se.
Yeah.
Because dude, after the Old Souls Festival, thanks for doing that, man.
Dude, that was so much fun.
It was
like
the best time.
It was.
My first time in Bisbee, Alex Metropolis had just talked it up, was like, dude, Bisbee, I love it. It's awesome. When you pull in, it's going to be great, this and that. Dude, I had the best time down there.
Yeah.
And, you know, he pretty much headed that whole festival up himself. You know, I helped him here and there when I could. And he had a couple other people kind of, you know, do some pretty serious work there at the end when he was like, dude, I need help. And what I took from that though is everybody was like, dude, this was amazing. You guys did great, this and that. And to me, I was like, okay, yeah, it feels good to hear that. But then it's like, I didn't put everything I could into this. So now it makes me want to kick it up a notch where it's like, you thought that was great. Buckle up, like wait till next year, wait for this. Like, I can't operate in that sense of like, you know, where somebody like puts you down and then it's like, well, I'm a rise, you know? Yeah, there's a little bit of that. But if I'm over here thinking I'm doing cool and I know it's the what's the word where like where you're successful, but you feel like a fraud.
Oh man, it was
people
just
hating this right now.
No, you're good.
No, people are hating this. They're like, it's this.
It's this. Come on, please help us. If you just yell loudly at the computer or the phone.
Imposter syndrome. Thank you.
There you go. Thank you.
Thank you, whoever that was.
I could not.
Yeah, you get that imposter syndrome where it's like, I'm not putting everything that I could into this one thing. And if you thought that was good, well, I really want to blow you away this next time.
Yeah.
And that's the motivation that kind of gets me, where it's like, you know, people look at me and I stay very busy and they're like, how do you do it? How do you do it? I'm like, dude, I feel like I'm still not doing enough, and maybe not enough as far as the right things, you know, stuff that maybe makes me more money I get a lot of value out of what I do, which is why I do it. But yeah, throwing that Bisbee festival, people are like, awesome. I'm like, dude, wait till the next time, man. And then buckle up, you know, and see it. And so that's what motivates me. So like, but I did connect with that part of your story, which, you know, we can talk more about this. I'll let you know all my shit, man. I got no problem. Like,
I would love to hear it.
Yeah, because I think people bond a lot more off of, you know, the stuff that really tried them.
Totally.
I think a little bit of that is why we do gravitate towards a lot of maybe bad news and gossip in that sense, because it's really easy to kind of get around a common enemy in that sense. But also, when you feel like you're being tested and tried, if you can find a tribe around there, then it just kind of brings you closer together.
Totally.
You know?
Yeah.
So I appreciate you sharing that with me, man.
Hey, thanks for asking.
So back to the moment. So you're on the bed.
Yes.
Were you like lying down and then something like a chord progression came to mind, or like a lyric, and then you sat up, or were you like already sitting there with the guitar and you're like, man, I just need and then
so the latter, I was sitting there, she was falling asleep, and I was just like, I just felt like playing guitar, so I was sitting on the edge of the bed and kind of playing softly, and then that came in. I was just thinking a lot about what had been going on, as you do. I guess, but it was that was the setup. I guess that speaks to it as well. As you got to be, you want to be open to those creative moments as well.
That's exactly what I was gonna say. Like you have to be ready. So you showed up. It's like a writer does. It's like where I'm just gonna sit in front of this paper and I'm gonna write for 2 hours. It doesn't matter what it is. I'm writing, and then next thing you know, the universe is like, this guy gets it. Here you go.
There you go.
And you're just like, where is this coming from?
What's going on?
So you run to a pen and pad and you write this stuff down.
Quickly write that down. Voice, you know, if you have got a phone and you're a musician, it's a game changer. Yeah. It was just literally everybody on the planet.
Yeah, exactly.
If you have you tried out one of these phones? I don't know. It's pretty crazy.
Newfangled gadgets.
Yeah, these I don't know if it's going to last, but I really feel like creativity is kind of like more, they talk about the well. It feels like almost like a cup and it's just, you got to be ready for that rainstorm to come by. And the more that you practice getting ready for that, the bigger that becomes, and the more you can kind of collect. I guess it's just like
cast a wider net.
Yeah, exactly. So I've tried to, I am not always successful and come in and out of it. I've been doing it for a little while now, and over almost 2 decades, it's kind of interesting to see how like you come in and out of it. I haven't practiced guitar every day. That wasn't always my job, but now it is, and I love that part of my life, and I'm really lucky to be able to be doing that. I could be more successful doing something else.
For sure.
But I love this, and I'm super happy all the time.
That's the key, man.
Not all the time.
I talk about it in my work too. Yeah,
often.
but
I feel fulfilled. I guess that's
there it is.
I wasn't looking for happiness as much as just being fulfilled in what I do.
Well, because happiness is in and out.
Yeah, totally.
It's in and out, man.
Yeah.
It really is. And people think it's like, oh, you always got to be happy, and you got to always turn your trauma around and make it. It's like I said, you're entitled to those moments.
Totally.
You have to feel it, because if you're not feeling it, then you're pushing it away. And then next thing you know, it starts to infect all your other relationships.
Totally.
And all that. So you have to take that moment to deal with it.
Yes.
Before you can move on. The hot question on the table, man. What's the secret to your hair?
The secret to the hair. It's I'll trade if you tell me your skincare routine. I'll give you my. Yeah, just kidding. It's a wig.
No.
No, I don't know. You just don't cut it for a long time.
That's what I'm going to do.
You just don't cut it.
Yeah, I just shaved my head.
You got a good head. You know what I mean? If you got a good shaped head, it's a nice enhancement. When you showed that video of you shaving down for, was it Baby Jesus?
Yeah.
That was so funny.
I went dressed as Baby Jesus for a Christmas party.
I loved it, man. It was so great.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just not cutting it for a while, and then finding the right product, not skimping on shampoo or conditioner, and not going crazy with it as well.
Yeah. So how long have you had it? Like long?
When I moved here, so that was about 4 years ago.
Okay.
I got it trimmed a couple times. It was pretty short when I moved here.
Gotcha.
And then I was just like, well, I'm just gonna keep on growing. I'm not gonna say I've loved it every day.
Yeah, for sure.
And multiple times throughout the week, I'm like, okay, I'm ready
I'm ready to be done and out with it. Yeah, for sure. Especially in the summer.
Totally, man.
Yeah.
It's so hot here. You're like, why am I having long hair?
I'm not looking forward to
This
that.
is not a good idea.
Well, I want to see where it goes from there.
You know who has great hair? Alex had great hair.
Oh my God.
So good. I wanted to jump in on this. So handsome. Longtime friend of the show. I wanted to jump in on this love for him. We played the Old Souls Festival as well, and it was so much fun. That is definitely a highlight. And when I think back to some of my favorite weekends of playing and shows, playing music, that was one of them. And I remember walking around and just seeing, I was like, holy crap, he just knocked it out of the park.
Yeah.
I know he had, like you said, a little bit of help, but I also know he did most of it. And
he does all his heavy lifting, dude. And I'm like telling him,
the guy's a behemoth, man.
You have to be okay with asking for help.
An enormous man in spirit, and just one of the most handsome guys I've ever met in my entire life. Such a good player, and I'm just a huge fan of you guys and him especially as well. So.
Well, good. And I have big shoes to fill in his old bass player who now plays with you.
Yes,
like,
Tyler.
Yes,
Tyler's
he's a
the
beast,
best.
man.
He is a beast. You guys are both so great, man. There are so many great bassists in this area. It's crazy. You are so good.
Oh, dude.
Yes. Tristan. We have Tyler. We got Lee. There's so many great
Lee,
players.
no relation, right?
No relation. I wish. Well, I guess we're kind of like brothers. It's like with everything but blood. That guy, I love that guy so much.
Yeah.
He's a good friend.
Yeah, man. You guys go way back?
We do go way back. Well, right when I moved here, we just met. There was a battle of the bands going on. I wasn't playing. One of my friends was playing, so I came.
Was it the battle to the death, though?
They died. Yeah, actually, he's dead.
R.I.P.
Yeah. He's just dead. It was one of those Thunderdome situations. And my friend was sitting next, and he pulled up, and he had his signature mustache.
Yes.
He did, and I was with Sammy Martinez, who's another songwriter in the area and an artist, an amazing artist. And I was like, "See, Sammy, you wanna be with somebody like that? Look at this guy. He's so handsome. Look at those jeans.
Yeah.
Look at that face." And he was just like, "Hey, dude, what's going on?" And we just hit up. He's like, "Do you know anybody looking for a bassist?" I was like, "I'm looking for a bassist."
Here we go.
And it was really cool because he was good before.
Yeah.
And I've just watched him become just an absolute mountain
beast.
of a bassist.
Yeah, I
He's
saw him for
such
the first time.
A lot of drive.
With you at Crescent
Yes.
that one night.
He's so good.
And I was like, "Who's this guy?" And then that's when Danny told me, he's like, "No, this was like Dean's original bass player."
Yeah, this guy
I
is
was
the
like,
best.
"What?" I was like, and then I saw him shortly thereafter.
Played with Shane.
Yes, that's right. Yeah. Shane Travis at our show.
Shane
at
Travis,
Rebel.
another amazing.
I'm so glad
artist.
he was able to make it out of Oklahoma. He was able to get in because he almost got slowed
Yeah,
out.
he did. That's right. I heard about that, or I saw on the stories. Social media is awesome, isn't it? I'm gonna grab this.
Yeah, bring that in.
Long time friend of the show, Echo. Thank you so much. I love you so much. You are the best. This is going to get a lot more interesting now that this. If you thought I talked a lot, I'm about to start talking a lot more.
I gotta mention though, you guys are like the ultimate hair power couple right now.
Me and Echo.
Yeah, you and Echo.
Man, it's all her. She does all the heavy lifting for me. She is amazing. Sometimes you get lucky, and then sometimes you win the lottery. Mm-hmm. And man, I won the lottery a lot. That is crazy. Amazing. Yeah. Shane came back from Oklahoma. Yeah. Crazy. Amazing. That's so good with all this crazy stuff that's going on. Is it just Southwest?
I don't know if it was just, I know that was the big one.
That was the big one?
Yeah.
Because I was talking to somebody else, and 4 different people told me about kind of like, "Oh, I can't fly back in from this thing." I was like, "Oh, should I be paying more attention?" Is something else happening right now?
I know, right?
I found out about COVID in like June. I didn't even know. I was like so out of it.
Yeah.
I'm kidding.
No, I was going to say, I was like, damn, wait. I was like, you're playing shows.
What are you doing? Smoking a lot. Just smoking a lot of weed.
And I'm like, what?
Wait, what's going on?
What infects your lungs?
What's infects your lungs? Corona, bro.
Corona, no.
Dude, all the bros that were like, "Oh, COVID, Corona time, bro."
Yeah. They really did take a hit, I believe.
Oh,
that's how weird we are,
so
man.
Funny.
Well, we're so
I don't want to touch it.
And maybe it might speak to that point we're making about the ether, where it's like, it's like, I don't know, is there some sort of correlation just in a weird way, just in general? Because there are some things that are just like, well, that's a coincidence.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was one where I was like, I feel sorry for that company. It's like I saw a post where it's like, if 9/11 had happened 2 months earlier, do you think 7-Eleven would have changed their name?
Dude, they definitely would have.
They wake up.
There's no way. Yeah. They're like, "Oh, we're fucked. This is the end of that, I guess."
Yeah, you
can't do that anymore. My birthday, 7/11.
Oh, is it, dude?
And as a kid, I thought it was all about me because I'm a narcissist. Back to the divorce. It's all coming back around.
No, as a kid, it's like you because I have 2 young kids, and it's like you see it all the time. It's like me. It's like, what am I getting?
What am I getting this?
Yeah, this is unfair to me.
Yeah.
And dude, my classic line is like, "Life is unfair.
Life is unfair.
Why does she get this?" And why does Avery get this? I was like, because I wanted to give her that.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'm gonna bring you something that I just want to give you. Like,
just chill. It's coming around, bud. I love you.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, you have to be prepared for this venture around the freaking sun, man, because you have to just try and prepare them as best as you can, and learn from everything you weren't taught and distill onto them. Like, I over explain to things to the point where they get bored, and then they're like, "All right, dude, do you want to go kick a ball?" I'm like, yeah, I would love that.
Let's do that. I don't really want to be here talking about this either. I wish you just got it. Well, they're lucky to have you as a pop, man. They got a good one, man. I'm excited for them.
Thank you.
Life is going to be great.
Hey, you hear that? So cut me some slack, kids.
Yeah, guys, come on.
Go easy.
2023. Watch this and give him some slack. He's killing it.
Dope, dude. So one of the reasons I wanted to have you on like at this time frame is because you got this crazy show coming up at QuartHaus.
Yes. Right? Thanks for the plug. Yes. January 14th, we're doing a battle of the bands, but This one is a little bit different. So
Not to the death this time.
not to the death. Nobody is dying, unfortunately. We thought it might
settle
sell
that
more tickets.
lawsuit.
Yes,
Yeah,
so,
okay.
okay. I got to figure the other one out from when I met Lee a long time ago. We have it's inspired by West Side Story, Sharks versus Jets. So we'll have on one side you have one band, and they'll play a song. This will be Ruby Shore, another great local band, and then we'll be on the other side, and then we'll play a song, and the crowd will be in the middle of the dance floor. So kind of swapping off.
So at
song,
one point
song,
you're
one
at
song.
front stage, and then on the other point you're at the back of the
Backstage.
house.
Yes, thank you for. Yes, that's exactly right. Yeah. So I've never done anything like that before. I've heard of some other venues doing stuff like that, like trying to switch around to get the most bang for the buck. But,
Yeah.
I think this
definitely
one's
done it with like multiple stages outside, but you guys are going to be on the basketball court, right?
Yes, on the basketball court. So under one hoop, Dean Nelson. On the other, just dramatic pause right there.
Yeah.
Not burping. Dramatic pause. Ruby Shore on the other side.
Ruby Shore.
Crazy. It's going to be fun. Yeah. I am excited. It sounds silly, but to see what problems come up from it.
For sure.
Because it's got to be some, we can't do this because feedback, or this has got to be like, look at this. So we have another great artist named Matt Merchant as the sound guy. He's a great sound guy.
Yeah, I was gonna say you're gonna need a primo guy.
He's doing it. Yeah, usually we just run our own stuff, but this guy is just amazing.
Yeah.
He's so good. It's been fun working with him a lot lately.
Are you guys selling tickets to that?
It's free.
Oh,
we just want to put people in there. If I knew it worked really well, yeah, we charge. But I don't really know exactly how it's gonna to play out. And we're really lucky we get to play some really good shows and get paid not a good amount. All the venues take care of us, and I want to shout out to this area especially. It's been really great. But every once in a while we want to try something new and free and put some have some memories made. And I don't want something like $5 or $10 or 15 to slow people down to come to that one.
Yeah,
that might be like a political way to say, like, I just want a lot of people to show up, but I think it's going to be really fun. I'm really excited about it, and I love Ruby Shore. So as a fan of that band, I'm excited to play as well. And if it works out, I'd like to try it again. We'll kind of see what happens. I don't know. It's been a really easy setup so far because we've gotten Matt Merchant, who is so great, and Ruby Shore, who's so great. So everybody's just like, what can we do? And you're like, oh, this part. So
class acts.
It's been fun. Yeah. And QuartHaus has been amazing.
QuartHaus is awesome.
I love that place.
Yes.
Yeah. And they've been super supportive and like, whatever you guys need. So
actually, now that I got you, man, speaking of QuartHaus, since they have the basketball court, I know you've seen it.
Yes.
Alex has talked about setting up like a band, local bands, like a little March Madness. I don't know if we can go that far, but just, some pickup games, some 3-on-3 basketball.
I'm down. Yeah, totally. I don't know. We'll be out in the first round. I'm not very good anymore.
You just got to have fun. That's the thing about me is like, I love sports and I like games and I'm competitive to a sense, but to me, it's more important to have fun. Mm-hmm. So like guys that, ask me to be on their beer pong team or like cornhole or something like that, they have to think twice because I'm halfway decent at most everything.
Yeah.
Nowhere that good. And then I like to fuck around.
Yeah.
I like to do behind the back shots, under the leg, eyes closed. Yeah, I'm there to have fun, man. If I win doing it, even better. If I lose, well, I fucked around.
Yeah, so it doesn't matter. So then you don't have to put. I definitely, that resonates with me.
Yeah, so if you're on the court with me, you'll be all right, man. I'll be shooting like
good
granny style.
I'll guard you, and you go. Well, you're in great shape. So at least then you can slow it down just a little bit for old man Dean.
Oh man, Dean, are you gonna tell people how old you are?
I'm 33.
No, you're not even old, man.
I am not that old, actually. That's not that old.
I'll be 35 next year.
No way.
Oh, really? Jesus year. Oh,
Jesus year
with the hair and everything.
Yes,
that's right. He was 33.
Yeah, crazy.
Yeah,
but spoiler alert. He came back. I
feel like we should chest bump.
Chest bump for Jesus.
Oh my God.
Oh, it's pretty funny. Chest bumps for Jesus. Here we go. So funny.
Yeah, so we need to get the other bands on board, and you know what would be cool is if we actually.
I'm trying to think who we should get. We should get some math rock nerds so we can win.
I'm thinking is like people that are going to be into playing basketball, like maybe Rio Grande. And
dude, they would actually be. Oh, whoa, that's a tough team, right?
They got
there.
a power center with Terrence.
They got Terrence. He's God.
It's a power center.
They're great. Cardi, can ball. Eric, probably great too. I have a feeling he's like sneaky. He's probably got that 3 down. And then Tyler's just a tall.
Yeah.
Motherfucker.
He'll be pipping, dude. He'll be like out here.
Stand up, one baby hooks. I'm trying to think. We got Garrett. Garrett's tall.
Yeah.
Garrett's tall.
Oh yeah,
and then we rotate a lot of people too. Mm-hmm. So I got a lot of people subbing.
You got a bench, dude.
I got a bench. Oh, we got
actually. You do got a gnarly bench, dude. Honestly, as a band,
I'm pretty lucky.
Yeah, you do have a gnarly bench.
You know what it is? It's a lot of blow jobs. That's how you get people around.
That's the secret to the hair.
That's where they got.
See, that's what we're getting to, man. Yeah. Gotta peel back them layers on you, Dean.
Oh, that's so funny. Man, crazy. Yes. Man, we really do have. I'm really super lucky to play with so many great people. I got Spencer, my cousin, plays a lot too. He played a lot of ball back in high school. I played a decent amount, but there's a certain time when everybody got a lot taller. I'm 6, but then they just keep.
Oh, did you peak in 4th grade? Is that what it is? Like,
probably. I don't know. I was like high school when I started getting to my. That was the height. I think I'll weigh about the same much.
Do you?
Same too.
I'm there right now, but also just because, I was.
Well, you stay in good shape, man. I've mentioned how great of shape you are about 8 times now, as well as blowjobs. There's a lot of sexual tension in this room.
Well, dude, I used to weigh 255 pounds, man. I got married, and she's a great cook, and I was very active. I was in a band. I was playing soccer or basketball. I was doing a lot. And I was always out. And we just had different lifestyles. She was a homebody, this and that. And so then, you kind of
meet in one side or the other, and
then eventually you stay home a lot more. And I was drinking a lot.
It's the alcohol that really gets you.
It does.
Anytime I fluctuated a little bit, it's always been like, I'm always like, well, how much I've been drinking? Okay, well, that's a lot. That's a lot of alcohol.
Exactly. Well, and then it speaks to what we're doing now. Like I was listening to a lot of podcasts, and I was taking in this information. I'm like, what am I doing?
Yeah.
Like I know what I should be doing, and I'm just not doing it.
Yeah.
And so I just started. I went keto was a big thing.
No way.
And I was working out a lot, dude. And I started doing yoga a lot.
Yes.
And so, I went down, and then we were in a rough spot in our marriage, and she's like, you're not hanging out enough with me and doing what I want to do. Well, I was sitting down, watching a movie, drinking. I'm just like, dude, I gotta burn some shit off, man. I gotta burn off some of these demons. Yeah. And so I went back up a little bit, and then from then on, I was like, dude, I gotta take this seriously. That's my health,
I'm gonna jump in. Yeah. That's all you got. At the end of the day.
Yeah, I'm all about longevity, and I don't want to be bulky where I can't wipe my ass, man. I need to be able to. I got to do the splits on stage, man.
Yes.
Come on.
Oh, if you haven't seen him do the splits on stage, that is a staple. Yes, it's so good. Every single time, I'm like, what? And you guys stay in time and in tune, and everything just sounds so good. Man, you guys put on a good show.
Thanks, man. I want to convey that. What you guys do too is you do, especially is like, dude. The first time I saw you, were hanging from the rafters.
That's right.
I'm like, what is this guy doing?
What is he doing?
Yeah,
it's so cool to look back on people. I mean, I listened to probably, I don't know, everybody listens to like 90s stuff, but you see those guys put on these shows, and you're like Eddie Vedder's like climbing up these rafters. And it's weird to think about that's like a specific point in their career. That was like what they were almost known for.
Right.
But at the end of the day, it comes down to like art and entertainment, and those can be two different things, but there's a point when they merge, and I think that's live shows where it's like, okay, how am I doing this? Even if it's like you can't see the stage, and they're trying to there's still part of that entertainment value. I get maybe that's a different form of that. Maybe that's not true, but
no, well, it's and I've always said it, and I bring this back to like Snailmate. Are you familiar with Snailmate?
Mm-mm. No.
Nerd rap, synthcore, pop, like craziness.
Dang, that's awesome.
Nothing I would ever search for on my own.
Okay.
Nothing I would ever like listen to on Spotify and be like, this is my shit.
Yeah.
I saw them live. at this random show at Unity next to Yucca Tap. I actually went to go see Metropolis Man back when it was the old Gabe drums and Tyler on bass.
Oh my gosh.
So I was there to see them, and Snailmate went on and blew my fucking mind.
Yeah.
I went back to their merch kings, bro. They have their own hot sauce, t-shirts, hats, stickers, like crazy.
No way.
So I got $35.
What?
Give me that. Give me that.
Yeah,
Yeah, I got a shirt, got a hat.
No way.
I got a bunch of CDs, stickers, and I was like, "You guys are amazing." They're a 2-piece, but it sounds like there's 4 or 5 guys on stage.
Wow.
And it was just so from left field.
Mm-hmm.
But watching it live, that's what I'm getting to. If you watch music or something live, you get a different appreciation for it than if you're listening to it just, through your headphones or watching it on TV.
Mm-hmm.
I don't resonate this. But what happens is you're in this room and you're watching everybody else that's gelling with it. Mm-hmm. And then you're watching them perform their craft.
Yeah.
And as long as they're on time and good, you're just like, I appreciate the fuck out of this.
Seriously.
And now I'm a fan.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I've seen them like 2 times since they were on the podcast this last year.
No way.
And they're just like great, amazing people, man, and great musicians. And again, it's for the community. So I'd recommend you just pop in one of these days and just be like, okay, what the hell is Juan talking about here?
Yes.
And you're going to be like, what?
This is amazing. Where have you been? What's the name of the group one more time?
Snailmate.
Snailmate. I feel like I've
You know them. I mean, Kalen, I think he also bartends from time to time at Rebel Lounge. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is starting to.
As soon as you see them, you'll know. Okay.
Got it.
But I think
I can't wait. I love the music scene here.
Yes.
It's so cool. It's so eclectic.
Yes.
I came from, I lived in Virginia, moved around a lot. I stayed in Utah for a while. My family's still there.
What was that like?
It's really pretty.
Yes. Gorgeous.
There's a lot of stuff that I didn't love there. The music scene there, it felt really, it just wasn't for me. I don't know.
Gotcha.
I feel like if you don't impress a few different people, you're just not going to break through. There's like 3 or 4 people.
They got the lock on
or
it.
1 or 2. Maybe it's like 1 or 2. And if they don't like that band, you're not going to make it.
Wow.
Which I guess that kind of happens everywhere to some degree, but it's just like, this feels like open, more open. And there's a lot of people that you can work with.
It's very open, which is a downside and the upside.
Yeah.
Because I'm talking about open as far as a layout.
Oh, totally.
Sometimes it's hard to get people out because it's like you're playing way up there.
Yeah.
Or way out there.
That's a good point. Yeah. I think at the end of the day, I just care about not just me playing, but everybody having an opportunity to play. Mm-hmm. I really am down for that. I want to play as much as I can, but I don't want to take my spot to take up anybody else's spot. Dude. And I don't, and that's the cool thing is like, I have only once or twice ever felt like here that is part of a problem. Yeah, go ahead and check that out. Yeah. Okay, sorry. Good. Just making sure. Yeah, that's it. You always got to check. You always got to check.
Let me get closer.
Yeah, go ahead and check your thing.
I'm going to keep talking. Shit out, by the way.
No, you're good. I'm going to keep on talking. I can talk all day. Yeah, I think there's enough space where everybody can play and should be able to play throughout. It should be easy for you to get a gig, and it should be easy for you to try and learn and get better. Right? The reason we got a lot better was because we got a lot of opportunities to play.
Yeah,
and I'm super grateful for that. And I think I made a mistake of trying to hold on to it too much at one point, where I was just like, we got to I can't say no once, because if we say no, then they're going to go somewhere else. Yeah. And I'm starting to get to that point. I'm still learning to be better about it.
Yeah.
But where it's like, you know what? We don't need to play that much. It's going to be okay. Yeah. I need to rest. Especially my voice was just getting trashed.
Yeah, for sure. Well, you already got a deep voice too, man.
Yeah, it was just obliterated. We would sing some stuff, and I was playing with Pablo Bastidas. Pablo Love Train, another great artist, and he was having to cover my ass singing a lot of it by midway through it, because we were playing like 9 hours, 12 hours a week. Whoa. And it's just like your voice just can't sustain that for that long, especially because I belt way too much, because I get
You get into it.
I get into it, and I'm trying to be better about learning, like, it's okay to not do that as well. You know, like, I like the sound of my voice.
But that comes to your performing side of it.
Thanks, man. I just feel like you can learn to, like, I really like people like Marvin Gaye. That's not a hot take at all, but I love the way that he's explained things where it's like, I could flip up and hit these falsetto notes. He feels like when he was live, he could hit any note. It didn't matter. He's like, I'm going to hit that. And because he had that range of being able to flip and everything. So I want to be better about, like, I don't have to, like, make you feel this note by, like, screaming it, you know.
Yeah.
What you going to do?
No, that's a great point you brought up about you being okay spreading the wealth, because there is so much out there, man. And I think if your aim is to be able to uplift the people around you, you're only going to get better to it. Because it's like, what are you looking at? Again, are you looking at it, famine mentality? You don't want somebody to be on the same ticket as you that you view as definitely better than you, because people aren't going to like me as much. Like, there's a little bit of that vanity in there. Mm-hmm. And like, as soon as you can be okay with that and just allow it to witness very good acts and be like, that makes me want to be better, instead of be like, damn, man, what am I doing?
Yeah,
no,
totally, man.
No, just use that as the fuel to be like, man, that inspired me, which is, an artist would love to hear that. If you go up to him and be like, dude, you're making me want to practice more.
Seriously.
Who's going to be like, well, don't practice, don't get better than me.
Don't get better than me. They're going to be like, oh, that's so cool. Thanks for saying that. Seriously, man.
Yeah.
That's a really high compliment. Yeah.
Well, I noticed, I recognized that from you right out the gate, because the first show we did together was when you did the dueling drummers.
Oh, Pub Rock.
Pub Rock.
Yeah.
And
it was back in April. That was a long time ago now.
Dude, I was out of the music. I worked at the Guitar Center for freaking almost 14 years now.
Oh, my gosh.
So I was out of the music scene for, pretty much my whole marriage. So that was like about a good 9 years. My relationship, I was married for 7. Mm-hmm. And I wasn't familiar with all the acts like Alex was. So Alex was doing a bunch of the booking. Yeah. He was booking bands in general, and like, he was a promoter, and so he has like just a wealth of artist database that he can come on to. And so I had never heard of you, and I'm like, we're playing a show with Dean. I was like, oh damn. I was like, who's this guy all over the flyers? These are dope ass flyers. And I checked your Instagram. I was like, dude, who the hell is this cool ass dude? I was like, damn, dude, all right, we're gonna have to bring it. And then I get there, and I'm always early.
Yes, you are always early. He was early today. I was not early at my own house.
You're fine, dude.
Sorry, man.
You're fine. You said 12:30. I was just early.
No, you were killing it.
So anyways, I'm there, and I'm like, oh, there's Dean. I was like, all right, he's making his rounds. And I was like, I'll go say what's up. And he'll probably just be like, oh, okay, cool. Thanks for being here. And you were just like, your genuine interest on like nobody you knew, you know, I was like, man, this guy is a class act.
Oh, thanks, man.
And so for you to speak on that and say that is your goal, is to, bring up as many people as you can, because it's only going to make everybody else better and feel included. Because that's one thing I take pride into is if I'm in a room, I really like to make everybody feel like, hey, I should be in this room with these guys too.
Yes, totally. You do a great job of that too, and I really respect that about you. There's so many artists that get up that I think are really, I don't know too many people that are pretty stuck up. I think that most people get pretty shy, and artists are pretty introverted a lot of the times, oddly enough.
Well, you're in your room playing for hours on end by yourself. Yeah.
And it's so much of that when you play, this is a piece of you, like, so when they mess up, it's like, or they feel like they didn't get the attention that they wanted or deserved, which I think that they did deserve most of the time. Yeah. Then that can be really hard. And, that kind of I have to remind myself that sometimes when I have an interaction with someone, I'm like, maybe that didn't go as well as I thought it was going to be. And like, no, this is awkward. And sometimes you get to a place and it's like, it just feels weird and tense, and it shouldn't be that way. It's like, we're going out to have fun and have a good time, or I don't know, get lost in something. There's a lot of power in somebody, a lot of people singing the same thing, or even if you don't know the words, like, that's the power of the rhythm section. Yeah. Is that they're making them move in time. That is scary if you start to think about all these people doing this. Think about everybody from a terrible thing, like, let's that to a great thing. I don't want to give specific examples.
Yes.
It doesn't really matter. I was about to, and I was like, I'm going to go on a caveat with it. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But the most powerful things in the history of the world have come from a group of people doing this. We're stronger together than we are separate.
Yeah.
And music unites people that way, the same way. It's a spiritual experience.
It is.
To me, even though I'm going up acting a fool and hanging off rafters or doing the splits or whatever you're going to do, right? That's part of it's to bring people in.
Yeah.
And also to listen a little bit more. And it's just like a fun part of that thing. It still feels like expression to me to act like a goofball.
Yeah.
And to be a knucklehead up
Well, I
on
mean,
stage.
people, it's like they should see you up there having fun and be like, man, that is awesome. It's rubbing off on me. And maybe they'll be like, man, I should do that. Like we had a guy on Friday was just like, I want to sing so bad in a band. And he would tell us every time we took a break. And we were trying to figure out a song that we could play with them.
That's
and it
so
ended up
cool
happening.
that you guys...
It didn't end up happening.
But did you guys were even like considering that because there's so many times you guys play a lot too where somebody comes up and they're like, can you play this song? And you're like, I always, sometimes we'll try it. And then sometimes it's like, it has gone terrible. And like, if I want to do it because I want you to be happy. And it's not even like me. I don't care if you remember the band name. I just want you to have this memory of going to a show and being like,
exactly,
I got to sing with this band or I got to play with this thing. So just the fact that you guys consider that, I think is dope.
Well, I try. It's a fine line with trying to accommodate audience members, and fans. And it's like, but when there's liquor involved, and
that's what it comes down to.
It's you can give them a hand and they'll start to take and think.
Oh, totally.
Because we for New Year's Eve, I mean, it was a wild night.
Oh, that's going to be right off the bat. Yeah.
We had some people who was just like, okay, I had to like be like, hey, like really like corral these folks because
let's get them in.
we're trying to include them and have fun and all that, but it's like it very quickly they can be like, oh, I can do more, I can do this, or I can do that.
Yeah, well then I could do this thing.
I can get on stage. I can do.
Oh yeah,
that's
I should
the
do
one
this.
I'm talking about.
Yeah, that's really cool. We had a lady one time come up and tip us. It was a pretty big tip, and she was like, "Hey, can I sing with you guys?" And that was one. I think this is the only time I've done it one other time, and it went pretty well that time. It wasn't great, but I was like, "Oh, she tipped a lot," and she seemed okay.
Yeah.
That first lady, this lady was super drunk, and so I was like, let's try it. Whatever, who cares? And we did. I think it was Proud Mary, and it was so bad. It was so bad. And I was like, I don't know if I'm ever gonna do that.
Right?
It's bad, and the crowd most of the time won't know.
They don't.
That's what happens. So then you start to think, oh, man, I hope the bartender didn't see it, and then you report. You know what I mean? I don't want to get into like.
It's a fine line.
Be a bad
I think most people are going to look at it as like, oh, that's cool. They had an audience member that wanted to come up. Yeah, because we've done that too.
Yeah, and it. I hope it goes well.
Yeah,
we've had some people come up and play drums before. Just like right before a break or something like that. It's like if it's a little kid, you're kind of like, oh yeah, let's try this one out. Yeah,
yeah, exactly.
You want to bring people up there, and you want to instill that love of like performing, and a lot of it is about. I always feel funky. I'm trying to get better about this, but like attention that you get. Does that make sense? Like it feels. I don't want to use the word narcissistic so many times on a podcast, but like to be that way where I want people to look at me.
Oh yeah, no.
But
I'm there. I'm there with you because we're performers.
Yes.
So I don't want you to just hear what I'm playing. I want you to see that I'm up there having fun, which is why I move as much as I do. Which is why I'm freaking doing the splits. Yeah, I'm like, hey, stay in tune up here.
Yes,
like,
look up here. Yeah.
We're here to perform for you.
Yeah.
And I think that rubs off on the audience. When they see, okay, these group of guys are really into what they're doing up there.
Yeah.
Instead of just standing up there and say you play it perfectly and you play it amazingly and you play like a very intricate version or very, hard to play song.
Yeah.
It's like, oh yeah, sonically it's great, but it's like you're just
standing there. Yeah.
Almost miming it at that point. It's like, no, you gotta feel it. And so that part of the narcissism comes in where it's like, you're gonna know that I feel it.
Yeah.
And also for me as a person that does that, I'm trying to blend in the fact that I'm not as technical technically good as a bass player as a lot of the other ones that you'll see. So I'm gonna show you that I'm just having fun up there, anyways. So a little bit of that is hiding behind.
You sound great to me, man. You sound great to me.
Thanks, man. But yeah, that's why I move as much as I do. I try to have a wireless on as much as possible because you get into the crowd. So that's the point.
Yeah.
You get into the crowd. They're like, oh, whoa, this guy's not on stage. He's right here. He's right next to me.
Look
and
at
now
this,
they're
feel that.
involved as well. So,
You do a good job of getting off. You do a great job of getting off. Hard stop. Period. Question mark?
That's the promo.
That's the yeah. You do a great job of getting into the crowd and off stage where it doesn't feel intrusive. I can definitely think of sometimes when somebody's come off stage before and you're like, oh, this is not going well.
because it's like, look at me, I'm a cool dude, and I'm playing right in front of you.
Yeah. Well, you also are really good at, like, this is a gift that you have. I've seen this in the amount of time that I've known you, is like you're good at reading people as well and being like, oh, I need to back off a little bit. Or like, oh, this is good. I'm not pressing something, you know?
Yeah.
Like some people don't have that.
Yeah.
Especially if you're on stage. If you're on stage, a lot of times you're like into that world.
And you feel like you can get away with
yes,
things.
and also like you're in it's a different plane of existence almost. That sounds so hippie. I don't mean it that way and like up my own ass, but I meant more
But
like
once you're up there, you get it. You're like, okay.
yeah, like if we're playing together, most of the objective is for me and you to be in this moment together, right?
Yeah.
And the drummer and the other guitarist or the keyboard, whoever's playing, right? It's like once this feels hacky, but like it's like almost like it's the closest thing to having sex that I've ever felt with somebody. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I'm like,
well, because
it's not
you're
a sexual
in sync with
thing,
each other too.
but yes,
when you're having great sex, you're in sync with this
yes.
person.
Oh, it's like,
you know?
where do I stop?
Like
and where
one
do you
night stands
end?
are not fucking great.
Yeah.
You know? It's like the first night or two with the new
you're
person.
like,
You're like, I'm still trying to figure this
what is
out.
going on?
This rehearsals, man.
This is
yeah, you know.
so many different.
Sorry, I'm gonna need a new drummer. Sorry,
We're gonna get. This is not working right there. Let's try to put it. Yeah. Maybe over here. How about this? No, definitely not. Don't put your finger there.
So yeah, you're in sync with each other. You're in tune, and so you're like, fuck. And music is so. It's something you feel as much as hear, right?
Yes.
So yeah, it makes sense.
The band is all here, right? And then if you can get the crowd in there, that's the objective of the band, is to also be in sync with everybody too. And I guess what I was trying to say is, with that point, is you can get off stage, or you can start to try to make a connection with somebody that is not there and does not want to be there.
Right.
Like maybe even like physically want to be there.
Yeah.
And that can make it awkward as well. But to finish up the compliment, you do a really good job of seeing like, oh, I should be, this person is, I'm going to bring this person in, or even converting somebody to that as well. Stage antics can help with that part as well. That's a really nice thing. The visual aspect of that stuff as well. Crazy. I have a question for you. Have you ever seen somebody who's on stage that instantly becomes more attractive to you because of that? So you see their physical appearance, you're like, okay.
Yeah, well, I'm such
I
a
give them a
caveman,
3.
man. Yeah, right.
You are not a caveman.
I'm
Dude,
such
you're
a
handsome.
caveman that if there's a girl on stage, they're just like a 10 right out of the gate. Dude.
Okay.
If
I thought this was going
if
different.
there's a girl that is physically good at something, like playing an instrument or a sport or some sort of activity, like to me, that's just boom, like right to the top.
Why do you think that? What do you think that is with the talent?
Because a lot of this tends to be a male dominated area when it comes to like what we know as far as what's broadcasted. The NBA is so much bigger than the WNBA. But conversely, there's like men's golf versus women's golf. But then you get like beach volleyball. Obviously, it's like the women's, they garner all the views because for one, they're freaking badass. But for two, they're
Scantily dressed.
Dressed and in great shape, right?
Yes.
Because you're there. So, but the time it takes for someone to, I guess the whole thing, and I would even speak to you, like as a beautiful man, dude.
Thank you.
Like for somebody to lock themselves in a room and learn a craft or, seclude themselves from the rest and learn a craft when it's so easy per se for an attractive person to garner attention. Like we would much easily go towards that.
Yeah.
So that's like when you see somebody beautiful, you're not going to think that they have some sort of talent. And maybe that's just me talking, but like I'm always surprised when someone
they put the time.
Because they put the time, because it's social beings and our just reward system, how we just need that dopamine hit. Like you would think that you just lean into the most minimal work that still gives you attention. If it's literally just showing up because I'm really attractive, then there you go. You know? And so to me, it's like this person has put in time to learn something because they love it.
Yes.
Because they love it, and not because, like, if I see an ugly person doing it, I was like, oh, you wanted this. No, I'm just messing. That's me.
No, not at all.
Dude, I've been trying to find a photo of me in like my awkward stage, you know, when I'm like 10 or 11, and be like, you know, because people see me now and they're just like, oh, well, you're just, you know, you just got this figured out. And that from far from the case as it is now, not even your perception. But when I look in the mirror, I see this awkward kid still.
Yeah.
This is what I come back to. The guy that was weird around girls and, you know, that maybe wasn't the most, not alpha, but like maybe was like a little too timid, you know.
Yeah.
Like I see this kid is still the one I tend to kind of nurture.
Yeah.
And I've been trying to find a photo so people can be like, you know, because they tell me certain things and I'm just like, dude, that's where my like imposter syndrome. And it's like, if you think I'm doing, you know, a whole lot, I feel like I'm still cheating myself. Like it's there. And the more I talk to folks and people and my separation and divorce, everybody is struggling. Everybody's insecure. Nobody knows the right move, and if they speak to you like they do, that's a fucking snake oil salesman, dude.
You're totally right.
It. Everybody feels the same, and that's where we can connect when you realize that.
Yeah.
And getting to know all the bands and all the musicians, I see that because I'm like, this guy's great, and then they're like, oh no, shucks, man. I'm like, what? Like, dude, you guys are killing it. And Alex had told me before. He's like, you know, you should do your podcast. You should interview all the local bands and this and that. And I'm like, the one thing that makes me such a good conversationalist in what I do here is because I'm genuinely interested. Like, you know, I reach out and I'm like, hey, I want you to have you on the podcast. And like people will be like, well, what's the subject? I'm like, you. Literally, I just want to talk to you.
Yes.
And I feel like you're an interesting person that we would have like a good conversation and I could learn from.
Yeah.
So that's at the end of the day, if I feel like I can learn on it, I have a way to record it and broadcast it out. Maybe somebody else takes something. And we have a little something to promote. You know, seriously, you got that fucking killer ass Battle of the Bands, not to the death this time.
Not to the death,
at QuartHaus on the 13th?
14th.
On the 14th.
13th, we got a single coming out, though. That one's called Poinsettias.
Poinsettias.
Yes, it's coming off our new album called Hand Some. Okay. Hand Some. It's kind of like the Sesame Street. Hand Some. Oh, I just touched the mic. Sorry about that, guys. Boop, 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 boop.
Yeah, all right.
It sounds like that. I'm excited for this one. This one is it kind of feels like very like Foo Fighters to me a little bit. I don't know. I mean, it's a lot lighter than the Foo Fighters, but especially towards the end, it just kind of like morphs and morphs and morphs. It's the end of the album.
Gotcha. Yeah.
And so it's going to be like
the
this
big
really
crescendo.
The big crescendo, especially at the end of the song.
Yeah.
And it was a really fun one to write. Me and my cousin Spencer, who's my consistent co-writer since we were little kids.
Yeah.
We got over here. We're sitting over on this couch over here, and
couch's got a lot of mojo on it.
Couch has got a lot of mojo on it. There's a lot of mojo on that couch, if you know what I mean. And no, it's a very clean couch. We just drank a lot that night.
Ooh.
And it was really funny. We've been doing this thing that we hadn't done in such a long time. Like, we used to just sit and write all the time. Mm-hmm. And then we've written together a lot since, but it wasn't like as prolific, I guess. So like we were just cranking out a bunch of stuff.
Gotcha.
And we were sitting down there one day and had this riff coming up. And we're like, oh, that's pretty cool. And we're just giggling. and writing a bunch of words together, and had this idea of all this time away from you, which I didn't really know what it meant at the time. We just thought, oh, that's kind of cool. Like, we didn't have the response to that line yet. And it was just really cool coming up with this. What's the story that we can put around this line? Because we like this line. And then we can change it later on, just kind of trying to pull something out of the ether instead of letting it, like with before, it was like that came to me. And this one you had to wrangle it a little bit. But we opened up ourselves to it.
You had to ride the ethereal horses and go lasso the fucking...
There's this gift that somebody had given to a friend of ours, and we were like, he was like, man, I can't believe this person gave me this thing, and we were like, oh, that's pretty funny. That it was like, he was very nice about it, and he was just joking around. Yeah. But we're like, oh, this is funny that what if we wrote about a character that was like getting annoyed with somebody's like affection towards them? You know what I mean? Yeah. And that spread out to a little bit more of like a few different examples of the same thing, and kind of like this very coy thing to come back and forth, being like, all this time away from you, and how do I make that less time away from you? I guess I don't know.
Gotcha.
We stopped being so intense about like editing the lyrics like we used to be, because I felt like that was like slowing us down so much.
The search for perfection.
Totally. I think we talked about that before with always a dangerous thing. We try to keep the talking to a minimum before we start rolling. That's a really scary thing that can happen. Yeah. And if I could give advice to anybody, it's just like record all the time. Like, don't edit drafts while you're writing the draft. Just let it be. Just come back to it later on. If you want to replace it later on, you can do it. But like right now, we just want to finish. We're going to write a verse. Well, we're not going to you don't have to not leave till you write a verse, but like, we're going to finish this verse today. Okay. Let's put this in. Pajama, monkey penis. Okay, cool. That's a placeholder. Put it down. Got it. Okay. At least you had something. Yeah. And then later on you come back, you're like, I really hate that line. So I'm going to fix that line. So,
that's a good, it's a rough draft.
Totally. So we were doing some of that, and then we definitely came back and rewrote some of it to kind of fit the idea that we're going to have. But, that really changed the game for us. And we've written a lot of stuff just recently based off of that, instead of when we started off and with our first couple albums that we did under different band names. It took forever to write anything, because it was like, well, this doesn't really convey the feeling that I want.
You're trying to get that next line perfect before you can move on.
It's got to be this thing, and look at this inner rhyme has to reflect this. And you can really get into that, especially with like looking at somebody like Kendrick, where it's like, well, this guy, every syllable means something.
Exactly.
Like, okay, Kendrick is a genius.
Of course.
And you might be a genius too, but you're not Kendrick. So like, how about you? And Kendrick wrote a lot too. Yeah. Like, if you go back through his stuff,
10,000 hours. Dude.
Totally, man. I bet if you could find all of his notebooks or all of his note apps, it's like, holy shit, this is a library, right? And some of this stuff you'd be like, that's really bad. Yeah. So you just got to put that time in, right?
Yeah.
Don't be. We as musicians, part of it, the way that I think of it is like, it's a product, and so much of the time we're not actually cranking our product out. We're like trying to do this one thing, but perfecting the product actually comes from making some bad product to get to that good product. Yeah. It's not the same as Nike, so it's not an A-to-A.
It isn't. But I mean, there's albums where, you would hear about, Guns N' Roses going into a cabin and they wrote 30 songs, and then they put out an album, there's 11. They're like, what happened to the other freaking 19 or whatever it is? It's like, is that hot garbage or what? Like, what happens to that? Like, does it go to like, I'm talking about some more hippie shit. Does it go back into the ether?
Maybe.
And then eventually another artist will grab onto that and be like, oh, this is something that I can mold into my, being and my image and what I want to convey. And there it is, right? You just have to write. You just have to do it. And you're speaking to me right now too, because we talked about earlier. I was like, I have a bunch of
that's what you're saying. Yeah.
Bass lines and stuff and ideas for melodies that I've done jack shit with.
You got Ableton. You just put it down and then come back. And then when during quarantine, that was lucky for me. I had a lot of time, like everybody did.
Yes.
And I actually think I'm calling myself out right now. I think I watched Schitt's Creek, but I did make a thing of like once a day I'm gonna just write something out. It's gonna be shit, and then come back. And I had a bunch of demos from stuff that I did a long time ago that I wanted to redo, and so I went back and re-recorded a bunch of that stuff. And once a day doing that, and I got better at being better as a musician for the studio as well. Anytime you put that time in, you're like, oh, okay.
You show up, dude.
I'm like definitely out of time here. I got to work on my rhythm.
You're going to get rewarded.
Yeah.
You just show up, you're going to get rewarded.
Totally. And then I had some that we wrote that ended up becoming a riff that got into another song or inspired a song that is going to come out soon or way down the road or whatever it's going to be. So crazy how that all works out.
Yeah, well, people think it's all linear. Everything's just, it's going to, here's step one, here's step two, there's step one.
Yeah.
Step 1A, step 1B, step 1C, point 2. Like there's so many things that happen on the way to making something that people view as a success, whether it be a piece of art, music, a product, anything, our own growth, dude. We're going to take so many steps backwards and fall and stumble that you just have to maintain the path. Show up and do the work. And that's literally just getting up and brushing your teeth, maybe taking a shower. And it's like, okay, that's step one.
Yeah, step one. Now we go.
Yeah.
Pick up the guitar, start playing it. Yeah. Or recording or whatever the instrument is. Pick up that pen and paper and just start, or the notes app, whatever it's going to be. And then finding the way that works best for you. For example, I notice when I write on a piece of paper, I get more into writing that part. When I pull up my phone, I always get distracted by something else.
So quick, dude. It's so quick.
Oh, I get a notification, or I'm like, I should check in on this thing real quick, or I got to text that person back. And I don't know. Everybody's got their own place that works, and that's great. So whatever that is, work with that. Yeah.
It's so quick with the phone because I definitely get the pen and pad, just how tactile it is, right? It's like you're making this other inanimate object make something for you, right?
That's pretty crazy.
And there's nothing really there to interrupt you. But if your phone, I see it all the time where it's like, even on the way here, I was like, I got to look up the directions again. And then I open up my phone and it's like, I got an Instagram.
I should check this out.
Let me check this real quick. And then I put my phone down. And I was like, wait, I meant to
go grab on that. Yeah.
I'm like, dude, get out of here. Yeah. So there's obviously it's a tool. It's a benefit. But you have to be wise in how you use it.
Seriously, man, it can get scary. It can get scary. It's funny how it really is this big tool, but it also feels like sometimes it is the end game for a lot of folks, myself included.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's like, well, I didn't post today.
Yeah, because you trick yourself, right?
Media.
You're like, well, I'm on it for business. I'm a business. I'm trying to promote this. I got to stay in people's eyeballs. All that. Which
is true, but if the end game is just to get like, it almost feels like sometimes I write songs so I can put them, so I can be like, I need to have some background noise for the photo that I have. You're like, no, that doesn't make any sense. Like, what am I doing? I'm writing this so I can have a moment with this music instead of. It's just funny how crazy it can get. You can lose it so fast.
It can be misconstrued in that way, yeah.
Instead of doing it that way. Anyways, on another maybe more positive note, I've been trying to think of different ways that you can market that is more exciting, right? So like, you have a limited thing to work with, right? With let's say like Instagram or TikTok. So you have the ability to make a video, and then that has a visual and a sound aspect, right? That's about it, right?
Are you talking about smell-o-vision?
Smell-o-vision. I'm talking about inserting, smell-o-vision. What is the way that you can make that video stick out from everything else that comes out? Because everybody has the same amount of things. They have the visual aspect and the audio aspect of that thing, right? I'm not talking about like search engine optimization or anything like that, just like the thing itself. And then we start thinking of different ways that we can put that up. So you can make a music video of you playing guitar, and that has been done a lot, or you can do it a different way. Sometimes it has to be like, I don't think like a lower quality, but a different way that you could see somebody doing that same thing. How can we make it so it's like, well, that's where you're going by and you're like, oh, that's weird. It's the same concept as like clickbait, right?
Yeah.
But in a more positive and less toxic way. So you don't have to put a photo of a semi-naked person up there. So they're like, oh, what's this? Mm-hmm. It's more like, how can I make my photo or this piece of information, this information look different from everybody else's in a marketing way? I've been thinking a lot about that due to the album coming out, but it's just weird to be like, how can I use this piece, the same way that I like approach like attacking a stage, right? Well, what can we look different? 2 drums. Okay. Well, that looks already, you're like, that's weird. Why? Everybody's seen 2 drums before. It's not that weird, but it's not normal, right?
No, yeah.
You don't have to reinvent the wheel, or like a piece of information. So for this album, I decided to go through like Canva and find a bunch of different infographics. And I was like, oh, wouldn't it be funny if I like broke songs down by like emotional content? So I said like Poinsettias has a 32% based off of bullshit. You know, it's like, it doesn't fucking matter, but it's like 32% of this time away from you, right? Because it says that so many times. And this has this many people playing on the album, and this has, the track is this long, and this is the way the waveform looks, and all this thing. I'm not saying it worked super well or not, but it made it exciting to start marketing again, because it wasn't just like me with a photo saying like, click on this song, here's a pre-save link, done, right?
Yeah.
But it took a lot of time.
Yeah, it does take a lot of time, which most people will applaud you for that and say, man, look at this guy put in all this work to it. Hey. My buddies from Switzerland, they did a whole zine with their piece, and he does all the artwork and stuff.
That's
like,
so cool.
It's badass, right? And but I think there's always room for quality. That's the big thing. So even though it's a thing that already exists, there's always room to make a better version of it. So just a more quality version of that, or a slight deviation, right? Because that's all people need for, this is the one thing that this is different. Okay, well, let me check that out real quick. But I've noticed with my online accounts that if I post stuff that involves my podcast or the band, because I still have so not as many followers. Anytime I post anything about my regular life, especially involving the kids and all that, it gets way more engagement.
Oh, totally. Yeah.
Because they don't feel like they're being sold anything.
No.
You know, so it's like if you throw in the run of the mill, here's my flyer for this week, or here's an album cover. Yeah. Go check it out. It's been seen before, right?
Totally.
So I guess it is in the sense of like, you know, you do kind of have to not reinvent the wheel, but change it up there. But also it's like, if you give them a glimpse into your regular life, which I appreciate you having me in your nice house here, man.
Thank you.
But if you give them a glimpse of that, it's another bit where they're like, oh, okay, this is a regular individual with their own separate loves and interests and passions outside of the main thing we're pushing.
Yeah.
So just bringing it back to your piece, like, I love that stuff, man. Like, because that's like, it doesn't matter if you pulled it out from anywhere. Like, you're making it fun too. Yeah. And I mean, did you give it like a funny name, like some sort of algorithm that you might have used?
Oh, no, I shouldn't. I gotta come up with a name right now.
You gotta do something, man.
I gotta think of something.
Dino Vision? No.
Dino Vision. Yes.
Something algorithm. Algorithm. Yeah. That one's
You fit gold, my friend. Dude, I love it, man. It's so funny. I love it. Yeah, it's a racket, but I love the racket, so I'm totally down for it.
Be at home in the racket, and then everything else is a fucking joyride.
Yes.
What do you do to, I guess, to decompress, other than maybe picking up your guitar and strumming a little bit, softly, without the intention of like...
I watch a lot of movies.
Yeah. Are you a movie buff? Would you consider yourself?
I like movies a lot. I consider myself a movie buff that has a lot to learn. Okay. So I'm totally down to be disproven all the time. Yeah. But I love talking with that. I like storytelling. I like to read. I grew up 90s, so I like video games too.
Mm-hmm.
I'm always late to everything though. I just played Metal Gear 5.
Yeah.
So and that's like 10 years old now. I was like,
shit.
oh, have you guys heard about this Metal Gear game? Like, oh yeah, that was pretty old.
Yes, we have, old man.
Old man, get out of here. Have you guys heard of this? I think it's called, let me see, Tekken. I think I'm saying that right. Yeah.
Tekken, yes.
Pong. Have you guys heard of Pong? That's pretty good.
Oh, man.
What else do I like to do? I like going on. I've been getting into riding my bike a lot. Which
Okay.
has been fun. My
Like
cousin
cruising or mountain bike?
just cruising on the streets. Yes,
Gotcha.
cruising on the streets. I liked running a lot for a long time, and I started hurting my knees again. So I was like, I'm not going to do that as much.
Yeah. Biking is a lot better for that.
Yes. And then we've been getting, I don't know if you can see over there, we got a couple puzzles. We've been doing some puzzles lately too.
Dude, I hit that puzzle game hard
Really?
a while
It's so
back.
fun.
Yeah. It's fucking good.
I get pretty obsessed with tedious things, which it can be good for like music a lot, and puzzles as well. So I'm like, oh, I'm having a good time doing this thing.
I get lost in that, and that what some would consider tedious work. It puts you in a flow state.
Totally.
I think
That's a good point. Yes.
it.
Isn't that funny? I have been doing it for a long time. The flow state is totally right. That's why it's so enjoyable. I really like going get coffee and just talking with new people and old people too.
Yeah.
Old friends and old people. I like old people as well.
pick the brains, man.
Pick the
That's
brains.
what we're doing.
Yeah, I like trying new things. It's been fun. Most
You've
of the
been
time.
down to the Pioto right here? Pai Shioto? Shioto, I think that's what it's called.
Peixoto.
Peixoto, yeah.
Peixoto. Yes, I do
Yeah.
love that
The
place.
one, the new one right there.
Yeah,
It's a
there's
dope
the one.
layout.
Dude, that was good. Have you? Yeah, you just went. I guess that's why
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
asking. That place is really good. I really like this Ethiopian bean coffee. Anything like that, and a few places have it.
Yeah.
And they are one of the places that have that. And I love oh man, it's so good. There's something about that bean specifically.
How do you take it?
Black. Oh, so good, man.
Like your man.
I like my men. Yes, like my men. I love it. Yeah, it's so good. It's so smooth to me. I don't know what it is. I like it better than a lot of the South American beans, but I would still drink whatever's coming.
I go to Coffee Rush and I usually ask for the Guatemalan blend there, and that one's very
That one's really good too. Yeah. I guess it just comes down to whatever your palate likes. I hear it changes every 45 seconds now. So that's what my dad used to tell me to get us to eat food. Changes every 45 seconds. I'm just kidding. My dad didn't say that. My cousin, his dad, so my uncle said that to him growing up. I always thought that was super funny. I always wanted to say that on a podcast. It changes every 45 seconds.
Mission accomplished. We're going to run with it.
Yes, thank you so much for that's. Now I'm feeling good about this whole thing right there.
Yeah, it's straight from the CDC, Center of Dean Control.
Yes.
Right?
Oh man, you're on it. That's perfect, man. What about you? What do you do to kill time?
Oh my God, what time is there to kill?
Yeah, you're a busy dude, man.
I try to hit a couple workouts or do something physical.
What do you do normally?
Well, I have the workout group. They're called F3, and it stands for Fitness, Fellowship, and Faith.
Love it.
And it's men only, open to all men. It's always outside, rain, snow,
Oh no way! It
sunshine.
just goes.
You get together at parks. It's peer led, so all the guys there will take a turn on the day, and they'll lead the workout. So it's always a variety, and then it's always free. If I didn't already say that, and then it always ends in a circle of trust. So everybody gets a nickname.
Oh, sick.
Guys over 50, they get a respect.
Oh, love it.
Guys over 60 get a respect, and I think there's some guys out there over 70 that still show up.
What?
Not here, but there's a guy in his 60s that shows up, and it's just like, dude, this guy's doing the workout right next to you.
It's crazy.
There's the whole thing. It's like modify as needed. We're not out here to freaking hurt ourselves. We're just out here for to push each other a little bit, and it's really just you against you. And then it'll end in a circle of trust, which is usually involves like a prayer of some sort. Anybody can air out any things they're dealing with, or any anybody they want to uplift in the group or in their family that want to be like, oh, that's awesome, you know. And so it's just a group for dudes to get together and have a moment to better each other and be a little vulnerable, because as you'll notice as you get older, Dean, it's harder to make new friends and meaningful friends. And especially with the people you grew up with, you start to grow so far apart as far as our ideologies, and you don't talk as much and all that. So the group, I still got a video actually I need to edit together for when we got together for dinner, but everybody took turns getting up and just, it happened organically. Nobody planned on this to happen as far as I know, but one guy got up and he's like, this is what the group means to me. And then here's 55 minutes of everybody saying the same thing, dude, where it's like, it's hard to make friends as a married man with kids in their late 30s, 40s, whatever. And yet here we are getting together. There's a workout every day of the week. It just depends what works with your schedule and location. It always changes. So I would do that a lot to, you know, stay healthy and maybe a moment to decompress. Because if I'm not at work, I'm with the band. If I'm not podcasting, I'm with my kids. Like, you know, I'm all over the place. But as far as my interests, man, I am so wide. Like I had puzzles. Golf. I got really into golf during COVID. Hard, bro. Like,
dude, that's awesome.
I played like 30 times in 1 year from playing zero for my whole life. Yeah, I went hard.
Got into it.
Yeah, so I need to get back into that. But other than that, I'm not. And that's probably like my thing where I'm looking, I'm not doing enough to actually decompress because I'm so go. I'm pretty stretched thin right now. You know, just bought a house in June.
No way. Congratulations, man.
Renovations.
Oh, my God.
Fixing the yard. Like, oh, dude, this morning. Or, I mean, you saw me with the picture with the hoe.
Yeah.
In the
that
back.
Was you, yeah.
Dude, that was New Year's Day, me digging a trench because it was raining. It was flooding back there. So I'm like.
No, trying to get out.
Yeah, trying to get it out, man. It's a lot of that. But as far as my interests go, dude, I'm all over the place. I love yoga. I love movies and TV shows and documentaries. Like, I mean, give it to me. Like I'm into it. It's just I don't set up enough proper time.
Yeah,
to really do it.
Time management. Part of that.
But I, as you can see, I'm very interested in ideas and people and activities, and that leads me to stay pretty consistently busy.
Yeah.
Which I need to get better at meditation. That's a big run-on thing of what I do.
Yes. Yeah. No, that's great, man. What are some of your favorite movies?
Well, definitely grew up with like Happy Gilmore, anything Adam Sandler, Tommy Boy, Angels in the Outfield, The Rookie. I loved Rookie of the Year. I love that. And then now in my older ages, love Interstellar.
That's great.
Inception, movie. The Departed.
Yes.
And then just wacky comedies, Superbad.
Yes.
Yeah, I am. I'm all over the place. Not so much on like romantics. Never found myself as that such, but and then shows, man. Just, you know, South Park, grew up on that. I was watching that way too young, watching Dave Attell's Insomniac way too young. So that opened me up to just like this ridiculous. You know, I'm a country boy, so people don't think, you know, I come up here and the people that grew up here in the city per se, I'm like, how do you not know about this? How do you know about that? Like I had, you know, satellite and internet growing up and I was just on it, man.
Yeah. Just what, give me more. I just want to learn everything.
Yeah. I'm taking it all in. But usually if I'm watching something, I like to either laugh my ass off or like Game of Thrones.
Yes.
Westworld. Those shows, I watch each one of those shows like 3 times. It's like it's beautifully done.
Oh, so good.
Like, the story is just crazily good, man. So I don't know, man. I'm just all over the place, which leads me to that I'm not incredibly good at any one thing, but I'm good at a lot of little things.
No, I think you're great, man. I'm sure you're great at a lot of stuff.
Yeah. Which, hopefully my kids run off with that.
Yes.
They're so opposite of me.
Yeah.
She's very artistic and imagination like crazy, and he's super athletic that just wants to do stuff that just involves athletics. So I think that might focus them a little bit more in their lives.
Yes.
And hopefully it leads to, you know, some success and happiness. You know I'm fairly happy as it is, but you know, there's always room for improvement.
Totally, man. That's awesome, dude. It's having kids got to be such a trip and to learn so much about life, but also I would assume yourself and seeing that and the things that you teach and the way that you act and how they interact with that amount of information. I got to imagine that changed a lot. I know just having nieces and nephews, seeing them, it really, the way that my sisters interact with them, it's like, wow, this is...
Yeah, because you saw them grow and mature. Your sister, right?
Yeah,
you saw
totally.
her be like, whoa, this is a new side of you.
This is different, yeah. And it's a trip, man. It's a beautiful thing, though. I love having them around. And
yeah. Well, Chappelle has a quote where it's like, it changes you for your capacity of love. Mm-hmm. Because once you know, we're selfish beings in that sense. What's this mean for me? What am I going to gain out of this? You know, I can't always be in the negative. And when it comes to your kids, it's like, you'll put yourself in the negative for them.
Really?
Because you need to make sure that, dude, nobody's motivating me more than my son, dude. He is such a fucking winner.
That's awesome.
Like, it irks me that he hates losing so much, but it pushes me to like, that's the one I don't want to disappoint. Yeah. He grows up and he's like, dude, I thought you were going to be much more than this. Oh, like, oh, well, hold up, bro.
Hold up.
Yeah.
Wait a second.
But seriously, man, it's like, that's what I'm up against is his expectations.
Really?
Yeah. And my daughter is just so loving. Like she's loves me. He loves me too, obviously.
Yeah,
but it's
yeah,
like,
I understand what you're
he's got that competitive nature that even my most competitive friend that we hang out with regularly, he goes, that kid is fucking competitive.
That guy's got it. Yeah.
And I'm just like, if you're saying that, dude,
whoa.
Okay, I'm in trouble.
Oh gosh, I love it, man. That's great. You need people that push, that strive for that perfection too. You know what I mean? In a healthy way, and I'm sure he's doing it that way, which is just awesome. I love hearing that, man.
Who pushed you to be a better guitar player or maybe a songwriter?
I think Spencer, my cousin, probably did the most, Spencer Jones. And then my roommate here, his name is Rob Gardner. He is a songwriter as well and composer and just an all-around rock star. Both those guys, my parents have always been super supportive, but it wasn't like you need to put more like this time in or anything like that. It was just like,
go for it.
Yeah,
you got it.
But they're not musically inclined that way.
Gotcha.
And then me and my brother just kind of supported same way. Like he does stuff with like film or is trying to get into film. He's got a really great eye. So we've been there to support each other. I'm trying to think who. So I think really just me and Spencer, just kind of like he would write a song and I'd be like, okay, I gotta pick it up. I gotta like write it up. Not like in a competitive
baton.
way.
No, like passing the baton. I would
Seriously.
view it, right? Like, oh, you got that here. Let me take it here
try
for a
this.
little bit.
Let's try it. Yeah. So that's been really cool seeing him do his projects and as well. And I've been involved in a lot of his, and he's been involved in almost everything of mine too. That's just been really cool. I think that's really been helpful, especially living here. He lives nearby, so it's just been really great. I feel like I got a good community of people and artists to be around. Now working with Garrett Bowers with Juniper Ridge, and he plays guitar in my band.
Yeah.
And I get to play in his, which is awesome. I love that group, Juniper Ridge. We kind of push each other too, which has been cool. And working with Pablo and Lee as well. That was just a really nice, where we were all kind of like, oh, let's see what else we can come up with. And that new album's like what we came up with, which was really cool. That felt like it was one of the first times that was, instead of me just being like, here's a bunch of stuff. Let's learn it. And then you add your own thing. So they're still getting writing credit, but it wasn't like, it was like, oh, what if we went here? What if we did this? So we still had the outline, but that was good. So I've been really lucky to keep those people around. I totally cut you off. I'm so sorry.
No, you're fine. I was just going to lead into more your writing process. Like, do you find more inspiration if you're, smoking cannabis?
Yes.
Or,
No, I don't. Sorry. No, I'm sorry. Yes. I was excited. I probably drink more than and that helps me more. Weed makes me super like, I can't focus very much.
I can't smoke and get on stage.
I can't. No. I've tried it before, and it's not good.
It's like
my fingers start feeling really weird.
Yeah,
no, the paranoia kicks in.
Exactly.
I I definitely have it to relax and everything. And like, it's to me, it's like a social thing. But I usually won't go smoke by myself. I don't know. It doesn't, I will drink by myself, but not smoke. I don't know why. I guess everyone's got the preference.
Yeah, for sure.
I will usually have like something like some kind of drink or something that will help me like get more. I will be a little bit more relaxed. I don't have to have one to start riding either. Trying to think how the riding process usually goes. I teach guitar, so that helps a lot. I'll start to hear stuff throughout the day because I have a guitar in my hands for a lot of the day. And then having dedicated writing sessions, which is not as regular as I probably should have it.
For sure.
With different people as well has helped out. So a lot with Spencer and Rob will have a jam session, and then it'll be like, oh, we came up with this many songs throughout the day. Sometimes watching TV, you'll just kind of come up with something. A lot of this stuff has been just kind of like keeping your ears open and a guitar or a piano or whatever's going to be nearby.
Ready for
Record it. Yeah. And then, like I said, in between driving, between lessons, a lot of times I'll have a riff come, and then you just sing into this. There's a lot of those, which is kind of, you hope nobody ever finds us.
Oh, no.
You're like, no.
That's your only requirement for like your end of life things. Like burn my phone.
Burn it. Don't want to do anything.
Whose piano is that, dude?
That's Rob's. That's a nice piano. It's a great piano,
yeah.
man. He is just a genius, man.
Yeah.
He's been really fun and reworked the way that I think about writing music as well. And coming up with a bunch of different ways to do things together. He's been involved in almost everything I've touched for like 4 or 5 years now. And we just came out with he came out with a project that I got to be involved in called 12 Princesses.
Oh, is that the animated? Oh, okay, that's right.
Yeah,
dude, that was amazing.
I got to be the narrator in that, which was a huge just honor. It was cool. Honor seems a bit aggressive. But I mean it.
Yeah.
It was great. It's just something I haven't done before.
Yeah.
And being involved in something that he came up with that the LSO worked on and a bunch of other things. It's just like, wow, this is really crazy to be a part of this and push myself a little bit. Singing like that, kind of like that musical theater, like Hamilton-ish thing is not something I'm super comfortable with, but it was really fun to get into it.
That was a fun episode.
Oh, I get to go do this stuff. I'm excited for you guys to hear the rest of it. It was really cool to record. I think we still have a little bit we're going to record, but most of it is done for me. So that's been really cool to see that.
So it'll be like a few installments?
Yes.
Gotcha.
Yes, definitely. I tried to remember how many episodes, and just because the camera's on, I cannot remember right now.
I know. It's like torture of the camera.
But the next one should be coming out pretty soon, episode 2, and it's got 3 parts, and then the episode 3, and then I think we're going to 6, and then back to it's a Quentin Tarantino thing. I'm just kidding. That's a bad joke.
Okay.
No, after that 3, and then 4, and then 5, and 6. It's gonna be fun. Yeah, it's a really cool project and a beautifully done thing, and it's been really cool to sing with some powerhouses too. Rob's got a great voice. There's a girl named Cosette who's on it, who just released something yesterday. Cowgirls Make Better Livers.
Yeah, I saw that your story. Yeah.
Dude, she is so good.
Yeah. I gotta check it out. I did see the story, but I didn't make the jump.
Yo, you're good, man. It's still there. And Emma Neeson is on it too, and she's just another powerhouse. You listen to some of these people sing, you're like, holy shit, these guys are amazing. These girls,
there's talent out there, man. There's
seriously,
so much
man,
talent.
crazy, and they're all so nice and just like really, just like beautiful outside and inside. Yeah. Just really great people. That's what I love so much about music in this community. Like you said, with that group that you're working out with, F3.
Yeah.
Oh, got it. Okay. You just meet all these amazing people and they affect your life, and music has done that with people that don't play and people that do play.
Yes.
I wouldn't have met Echo if it wasn't for music. I wouldn't have met my ex-wife if it wasn't for music. Or I would have met Spencer and my brother but we wouldn't have met Rob, which is crazy because he's like a brother now too. And Lee and Pablo and Garrett and all these guys and you.
Yeah, right.
And Alex, and I'm just feel like I'm just rattling off names now, but my life would be
Your name dropping, dude.
But just I'm a name drop. I'm full. So many people that have just affected my life in such a great and beautiful way, and I mean, it's funny as a kid you're growing up and you're just like, oh, it's gonna be like this, and then it's nothing like that, and but it's also this like really beautiful thing. Like journey, It might not. It doesn't write out like a book, like you think it's, or a movie.
No, not that. But imagine if everything played out the way you thought it was going to play out, anyways. You'd be so dissatisfied.
Seriously,
you think you'd like it,
because
it's like. But then it's like when you get everything you want right when you want it.
Totally,
you're going to take it all for granted. You're not going to learn any lessons. And so I try to tell my son, it was like, if you win, you didn't learn anything. Mm-hmm. If you fail, that's when you're actually growing and maturing, and you're going to become a better player because of it. That's it. You give lessons.
Yes.
Do you have any openings?
I do have some openings. Please, if you want to take some lessons, please reach out to me over Instagram, or I'm just going to say Instagram because I'm not going to get my phone number out right now. Although it's on the Instagram, so that would work too.
Hey, but they have to go through that.
You got to at least jump through that part.
It's
Dean Nelson at Dean Nelson Music. Facebook also works. I think it's the same thing.
Gotcha.
So, or TikTok, and I'm pretty sure that's the same thing as well. I'm not very good at checking TikTok.
So go to Instagram.
So Instagram is good. I would love to work. I like to work with anybody I possibly can. It's been a fun process, and it's gotten me a lot better at guitar and also with music theory and just
teaching.
And teaching.
You have to understand it
more
to teach
compassion towards people as well, which has been great.
What's I guess like maybe one or two big tips for someone that decided to buy a guitar in COVID or like this holiday season? Like, what would you say? Like, two or three must do's.
Yes.
As a learning musician,
you got to practice the technique part of it. It doesn't take very long to do it. Yeah. It takes less than 5 minutes. Think about it. I guess this is part two. Is it's not a sprint. You got to. It's more about doing it a little bit every day. Gotcha. If you do a little bit every day, meaning you miss tomorrow or the next day, but then you're pretty consistent about it, within 2 months you're going to be able to play guitar. And I mean, maybe not something shreddy, but like
for sure.
You can play, and most of the things that you want to play, you could play. So it does take a little bit of time. It's more about working that technique. So when we work together, we go through the technique part of it with strumming, and then left hand technique, and then working together. We go over scales and stuff and some music theory stuff. I try not to get too heady.
Yeah.
I usually end up getting a little heady with it.
It can, for sure.
But I think the biggest thing with music theory is you talk about it. If you aren't talking about it, you will not learn music theory. So it's not that hard once you get down to it. It's like, essentially it's 7 notes moved around in a different order. That's not that crazy,
Yeah, it's true.
You can start to learn these tricks, and then once you apply it with the songs, you're like, oh, this is like, it's just like that song. Okay, I know how to do that, right? Mm-hmm. The third and final thing, sorry, that was a really long
You're
two.
Good.
The third and final thing would be, I just lost it. What I was saying, the third and final thing.
You're talking about learning rhythm technique here and then technical here.
Oh my God, I totally I could feel it leaving my brain.
As you were saying, I know, I get that all the time.
Oh my gosh, my ADD.
But you were talking about it wasn't a sprint.
Yes.
It's like you gotta practice as much as possible. Little bits, more consistent than big chunks.
Yes.
Right.
Oh, you totally sparked it. Thank you so much. Thanks for stretching it out. If it's part of the guitar that you do not like, if you're trying to learn notation and it makes you not want to play guitar, stop learning notation. Don't do what I tell you to do if it makes you not like playing that
instrument.
Come
back to it.
Yes, you will be able to learn it later on. It's a pretty wide thing to learn and get into master. Mm-hmm. I'm still trying to learn and master it. But whatever, the most important thing is that you're picking the guitar up.
Yeah.
If you pick the guitar up every day, you're going to get good at the guitar. Even if it takes a little bit longer because you're not doing the technique part or whatever you need to be doing, that's okay. But at the end of the day, you just have to pick it
Master
up.
the technique of showing up. At
That's
the
it.
end of the day, that's
At
what
the
it
end
is.
of the day, you just got to pick it up.
Yeah.
That's all that matters. You can see, I think the one of the closest things for me is watching somebody shoot a basketball. Like Steph Curry's got perfect form, right? Anybody else can learn. Like Sean Marion, I think he played for
yeah,
Sun. He had a terrible looking shot.
Yeah.
It would still go in sometimes, or start better than it would go for me.
Yeah.
But if you would have had better technique, it would have gone in more consistently.
Mm-hmm.
But it still would go in. So you can learn to work that in. Just pick up the guitar, pick 2 or 3 songs that you really want to learn, and just go whatever makes you excited about playing the guitar. Right.
Well, also what people need to realize is that every musician is different.
Yes.
And there's at least 2 different types of musicians. There's the studio sight reading musician that you put anything in front of them, they'll nail it. Boom, 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 boom. Then you got the jazz jam improvisation guy.
Yeah.
You put them, get up on stage. Hey, we're playing in this key, or follow this. They got it. You reverse those roles, they're a fish out of water.
Totally, man.
Most people that are very heavy one way or another, like if you get a guy that can sight read perfectly, you can put anything in front of him, but you tell him to go up on stage and it's like this is where we're going, improv.
Yeah.
You got guys that are going to seize up and freeze
Totally,
up.
man.
And then you get the jazz musicians that's used to just playing from the soul. No, we want you to play this here. And he's just going to be like, struggle. Like there's not, there's those 2 main different types, and people don't realize that. They think that everybody knows everything exactly the same.
Totally.
No.
No.
There's differences, and each one has their pluses and minuses.
So, seriously, man, that's funny you said, because I can think of specific examples for both of them that I played with before. And you're like, what happened? You're so good. How did you mess up that bad? And I'm pretty I try to give a lot of grace because I mess up a lot. But
For sure.
it was like, woof, man, that was really bad. And I'm sure I've done the same to somebody else too. It's funny how that works. Dang, man.
We've all been in those shoes.
Yes. And it's important to just give yourself it's the big thing of getting back up again and just do it again.
Yep.
You can have shows that you just bomb and it's just like extremely embarrassing.
Yep.
It is. And you're like, I hate this. It once again comes back maybe to that sex analogy too. You're having sex and when it's bad, you're just like, I'm a limp dick motherfucker.
Yeah, I've had better.
And you're like, okay, well, that was good enough for me.
Sorry, here's your exit package.
Please don't tell your friends. Yeah, and you just want to go upstairs. It's the worst. It's like, and when you get it right, it's like flying, man. It's so. And I think that's part of the frustrating part too. Is you're like, I should be loving this, and this is terrible. So
Yeah.
how can you damage control it? Sometimes you can't. And then the next thing is you just got to get back up and try to play again next week.
And you failed, so you better learn from it. What did I do?
What did I do wrong? Yeah.
And let's not recreate
Don't do
that.
the same thing again. Yeah, be smart about that for sure. Because you don't want to get back up and give the same. If it's a person that just doesn't gel with a band, there's so many different people out there to play with.
Yeah.
I have most of my students are like, I just want to get up on stage. You're like, okay, go find people to play with.
Exactly.
Where do I do that? Go to an open mic night. Mm-hmm. But they're all going to be wanting the same thing. Yeah, okay. I guess that's a big piece of advice I have too is be in a band where you're not the star and just learn to pick up that technique.
Fit the piece.
Yeah, fit the piece.
in the mold.
Well, I don't really play lead guitar. Okay, well, don't do that if you're like trying to play in a shred band. But like, at least if it's like, oh, they just want me to play like these basic chords and
Take
sing
it,
back up.
write it out.
Done.
And then as soon as you find exactly what you want, just say, hey guys, has it been fun?
Yeah.
You helped me grow and thanks for the opportunity.
Thanks. Yeah. And then a lot of times those band members are like, oh, we're going to go step behind Steph's project now because this was really cool. Yeah. Oh, okay. It sounds good. We're busy. We're busy, but we also have a lot of, you can rearrange that time to fit in with people if you like doing that. It's a very incestuous.
West Virginia.
West Virginia
That's
back.
A big callback, baby.
Yeah. It's very incestuous. Thanks, man. Like community. And that should be that way. Like I don't want to have to lock anybody down into my project because I did that for a really long time. And there's a lot of stuff I learned from it, but I felt like that slowed it down. So my biggest thing, I wish I didn't name this band under my name, but because it's easier because it's under my name, but it feels like it pulls attention straight to me. But I kind of wish that I would have named it something else so I could bring in more people.
Yeah.
Without being like, oh, it's just this, and you're like, no, like there's a lot of other things that are going on right here, and I like that my guys play with other people too, because then they don't feel like I slow them down or that they slow me down with their artistic endeavors. Anything they do ends up benefiting me as well, kind of. That might be a kind of a dick way to look at it, but I'm like,
no, I can, because hey, I love what you were doing. Hey, I'm also in Dean Nelson. Come check us out next week.
Seriously, man. Like, they're also getting the practice time in, so they're becoming better musicians. They're making more connections, which is great, right? But sometimes you don't have to have the spotlight. It's fine. Sometimes you just get some. I played in a band for a long time where we didn't do stage antics. We were just supposed to stand up there and do this thing, and the whole time I was like, you know, that thing where your toes like bend up into your shoe. I was like that. I was like, I gotta move. This feels bad, but I learned a lot from that, and I still would move sometimes, but it kind of taught me what I wanted to do, and it also taught me you don't have to move all the time, which is nice.
Yeah, that's
because you can also really alienate yourself and other people from like being like all the time. I don't. There's a balance to it. I'm still trying to find out. Yeah, totally. I don't know. You got to find the way that you feel comfortable expressing yourself, and that can change from time to time. So maybe next month I decide I don't. I just want to sit all the time. That's okay.
That's the biggest takeaway, man. Is that we're humans are fluid beings.
Totally.
And you know we're gonna be different from day to day, if not from fucking hour to hour, dude.
Yeah.
You know, we have to be okay with that and give each other the grace, because you would want it on your behalf. So if you're experiencing that from somebody else, like give them a little bit of grace in that moment and allow them to be in it, and then come back and then be like, oh, okay, sorry about that, guys.
Yes,
like
totally.
Like, yeah, that was out of character, but I needed it. You know, it's like we're fluid.
Totally.
We're not freaking regiment. What's the word I'm looking for? Like, I want to say regimented, rudimentary. That's not even completely, but like we're not rigid in that sense.
Yes.
You know.
Yeah.
It's like we're allowed to grow.
You want to be able to flow like that water instead of the rock that the water's going around. You just got to be like,
especially because eventually that water's going to wear that rock down, dude.
Totally, man.
Yeah.
It's going to do it.
Exactly.
It's going to happen.
Don't fight it.
So jump into the stream instead. It sounds like the golden rule. Totally. You got to give you that grace to other people too. Yeah. I always like saying bitch afterward. It's a golden rule, bitch.
That's
I picture that's how Jesus said it. Golden rule, bitch.
Man, why wouldn't he?
I don't know. He seemed like a pretty cool dude.
Yeah. It's like, why are you not going to use a word that's so fitting? You're going to limit yourself?
No, it
You're
doesn't.
A limitless person. Or entity.
Limitless. Yes.
Yeah. Dean, thanks for coming on, man.
Dude, thanks for having me on.
Piss myself.
Let's go. Let's cut it. Let's be done. This feels like a good stopping point right here.
I do want to. All right. So if you're interested in lessons from the world famous Dean Nelson,
thank you so much. Pat Penley.
Reach out to him on Instagram or Facebook at Dean Nelson
Music. Dean Nelson Music. Yeah.
Plug the album, the singles, the show, anything else.
Yes. Okay. January 13th.
Yeah.
The single's coming out. Poinsettias. That'll be the lead single off of the album Handsome, which comes out in February. I don't have an exact date yet. I'm trying to decide 1 week or another week.
Valentine's Day.
We're calling. Oh, you called right here on this podcast. I love it. And then the show we have is on the 14th, January 14th, and that is at QuartHaus, and they'll be playing with Ruby Shore. That'll be a really, really fun show.
Crazy fun.
Yes. I know we're playing at Rebel after that. So if you can't make it up the 14th, then please come out. I think it's either the 16th or 17th. I will post it. So if you follow me, you will know. And we're playing with Remy Good, Cross-Eyed Possum.
Oh, Cross-Eyed Possum Boys?
Those guys are so good. You want to talk about like feeling inferior when you see somebody play and sing? Those guys are insane. They're so good.
Yes.
So is Remy Good, man. Have you seen Remy Good?
No, I haven't yet.
Dude, they are amazing. Yeah.
Damn it. All right.
That'd be a good one.
I'm going to need to get out to that.
Yeah, let's come.
Guys, follow Dean. Subscribe to his music. Follow him on Spotify. All that good stuff. He's a beautiful man, in and out.
Man.
And thanks for tuning in, guys. And I hope you enjoyed this as much as I did.
Love you, dude.
Love you,
Thanks
brother.
for having me on. You rock.
This time away from you. All this time away.